Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. As you can see, we're on stage 50-12. The very first one in here was a Thorn Cheese. It took 3 attempts. That is right, guys. Only 3 attempts to actually get this formation down. Very interesting combination of how a lot of players are running now Matria with the awakened version of Thorin. So boom, retaliation number 1, boom, number 2. She comes back and then finishes the battle. So it is not a full-on Thorn Cheese because Matria is the one coming out to finish the battle, but I wanted to get that one underway. That way I can go ahead, chat with you guys, talk to you guys. I'm going to let these auto battle runs. We're on 50-12 already, guys. We pushed through 48, pushed through 49, and now moving into 50. I know there were a lot of questions. There's been a lot of questions even around the awakened version of Sophia, which overall, guys, it doesn't seem like most players are not super impressed, and we're not seeing a lot of utility with her as of today on the test server. Now we know tomorrow the notes do come up, and then of course it's going to be on Tuesday the hero is going to be up. So again, we're going to have to see exactly where she comes and if she comes. We have Dark Lucifer here. What is going on? Shady is here, JJP, Brian Apollonier, and Mucker as well. Thank you guys for joining me for the stream. This one pretty interesting. Within this formation, guys, Damon was the driving formation. Damon is the major damage dealer within this formation. So again, kind of interesting to see that on the Damon front, he is still being utilized, guys. We still see him in a lot of different formations, and here he is, even again, a carry early game, going into mid game, going into late game. Damon is still being used in there, which is kind of crazy. When I see these comps, I want to throw my smartphone against a wall. Yeah, Shadow, it's some of them are a little bit tough, and a lot of them are not very forgiving, guys. Meaning when you start getting into high level deficiencies, which I think we're at about, what, 299, we're running almost a 300 level deficiency in here, which is pretty significant. But overall, when you get to a point, it's either going to be your power leveling up your heroes to actually make progression, or it's going to be an incredible amount of time and effort to get through these stages, which is exactly where we are at. As long as we can go through and we can get through at least one of the boss stages, just because there are so many teams utilized within these formations, it takes an incredible amount of time to get all 5 teams to work with the RNG factor, with the Charmazard, with the Thorn Cheese. With a lot of them, again, it's really hard to get the RNG for these teams to work. What's going on, Zero? I never knew Damon Mihiro was a thing. It is, and the reason is Damon is just such a very, very strong hero. Now, also remember that Damon scales with the enemies. So as we get into a higher level deficiency, Damon scaling does not have a cap where most heroes do. So Damon you can actually use for an incredible amount of content because that cap is going to continue to increase as you go further into AFK Arena. It's going to do the exact same, guys. He is going to get stronger with time. I have a question. Does Yennefer's shield and Merlin's ability stack? Because if it does, we get like 40% damage reduction. It does, but I believe Apollonier, it is very short. That's the big thing. And Yennefer's shield, I believe they have to be on the allied side for Yennefer's shield to work. If they're over on the enemy side, it does not work at all. Which again, it's kind of interesting to see the dynamic with that. And that's why a lot of players are saying very similar to what we see with Yennefer's shield, where it is just the allied side. It is the exact same thing that we're seeing with the awakened version of Sophia. It is really that spectral disruption that the original version had, but now the awakened version has kind of that same thing where it is one-sided to go through, and you'll see if you played with awakened Sophia, or if you've seen some of the videos, her ability is just that one side, which is the reason, again, why a lot of players are saying not going to have an incredible amount of utility, because it is either the allied or the enemies are on the allied side or they're not. That's kind of the problem. But when you look at a 40% damage reduction Apollonier, it's not huge, because even when you look at, let's say, a Star, for instance, a Star has a 60% damage mitigation, which is monster damage mitigation. But it's kind of interesting to see how high the damage mitigation is and then how long it lasts for. That's really the other thing. What do I think about building Matria? Overall, right now, Michael, I would probably just wait. The reason being, we don't know at this point the full effect of what we're going to see with that awakened version of Sophia. She might come up on global, and then we find a couple spots where she works absolutely incredibly well. And there we go, guys. Damon got this one done. If you're sitting on the cards to build out Mahira, I would just wait. I would take a pause. Again, just for the fact that we don't know the impact on how far Mahira is really going to carry us. If she's used, it's going to be pretty interesting to see exactly what it is. I'm hard stuck in the campaign. I feel like now I need some engraving or furniture. Yep, JJP. It is either going to be the engraving aspect, and there we go, guys. 50-12 is done. It's going to be the engraving aspect, or it is going to be the other aspect is the power leveling. If you're adding on more levels, of course, that makes a big difference when you look at the level deficiency. But right there, guys, 157 billion from Thorin. This team strong, everybody alive. I like it. You can see the pets are starting to get much stronger, but Scarlet's still carrying right there. And this is, of course, the Awakened Belinda, 173. And then Damon, guys, 173 billion damage from Damon. I love it. I love it as a tank that he is doing that kind of damage, still being utilized within formations. Then, of course, 134 billion there from Lucretia, making it incredibly easy to get through there. Let's go through, and I'm going to set the formation. That way we can continue to go through some of these questions. I don't want to do the Thorn Cheese. That's what I'm trying to stay away from at this point. More like the fact that it's either taking more years to get the arrows. Yeah, we'll have to see where it lands, Shadow. Love your streams, always learning something new about the game. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome, Marwa. May we yoga and wellness. Thorn Cheese took me 3 hours. Yes, Sita. That is the side effect. That is really the side effect. When it comes to the Thorn Cheese, is the incredible amount of time that goes into the formations. It takes a long time. My Mahira build, I have it. Mahira is 309. So I have Mahira at the 9 of 9 furniture, the plus 30 signature item, and then I do not have any engraving on there. Some players do engrave it, but overall, Mahira works even with a basic build. And there we go, guys, through one stage. Mahira doesn't have to be super high built, Laura. You can actually build out Mahira very, very basic. Even, I believe, no, I only have 3 of 9 furniture. Plus 30 signature item, 3 of 9 furniture, no engraving, not even the 9 of 9 on Mahira. And again, it works incredibly, incredibly well with the formation. She works even without being built, which is nice. Hope you're doing well. Just want to say the best way to use Legacy of Grit and what would be the best to use it on. Legacy of Grit is going to be super dependent, Sluggy, on the heroes you have. So when I did the Legacy of Grit, I got very early, I got a ton of copies of Tamaris. I actually swapped those copies of Tamaris, which you can very easy. Swapping those copies of Tamaris to swap it for probably a hero like Damon, where Damon is going to carry, even though you will need Tamaris eventually, Damon is going to make the biggest impact early on to AFK Arena, without a doubt. Without a doubt, if you're at the Legacy of Grit portion, very, very strong hero. Would you engrave Rem to a plus 35 for haste? You can. And honestly, if you're looking, Vaster, if you're looking to be competitive within other game modes, there will be a point you do have to build them higher. So what I mean by that is when you look at even, let's say, the Treasure Scramble, for instance, a majority of players within the Treasure Scramble build up the heroes consistently higher, mainly just the Awakened heroes. And there we go, guys. Belinda gets it done. But mainly just the Awakened heroes are built up higher. Some of the exceptions are probably Rem, because one, she's almost on the exact same Awakened hero level, honestly. Works incredibly well. Awakened heroes, of course. The other one would be probably Lucretia if you built up a little bit higher, or Scarlet. All 3 of them are going to work incredibly, incredibly well within formations. And even like my Awakened version of Brutus, I took Brutus to a plus 35 signature item for the exact same reason. So again, depending if you're looking to be very competitive within a couple different game modes, you can do it absolutely well. How do you turn off the animations in your settings right down here, ultimate animations? I run Awakened heroes in a majority of the comps, if not all the comps at this point, which I know a lot of us do. The ult animations drive me insane because it takes a battle that might be 30, 45 seconds, turns it into a minute and a half just by dragging out those animations. I turn them off for everybody. I have the animations off for absolutely everybody in there. 1 away from unlocking engraving for Lucretia, 4 away from Brutus. Yeah, both of them, Raphael, you'll want to build. Lucretia, again, as you can see here, we're still using and utilizing Lucretia in a ton of different places. What makes Kelthar work? So, Dark Lucifer, Kelthar in formations don't really, it doesn't require, like what Shadow said, a big build out. The big thing with Kelthar is, one, he displaces a hero. That is the biggest thing when it comes to Kelthar. Kelthar has the ability to displace a hero. With the hero, you're putting it onto the side of Thorin to make that Thorin cheese work. Now, in addition, when Kelthar dies, Kelthar comes back as that little subform, or the little, I think it's the spectral form of Kelthar. When he comes back as that spectral form, he can kill a ton of targets out in that spectral form, which works incredibly well. I can't climb 4 out of the 6 faction towers because of the missing wokes on average. I'm at the same place, Shadow. So I know I did push a lot within the faction towers. I'm at the point where I might make 2 or 3 floors per week, maybe even less than that if I really focus on. It's gotten to the point with the faction towers where I have to build out specific heroes much higher, or I have to build out those awakened heroes much higher to get the utility out of them. I'm kind of at the same spot where I'm not making much progression in the towers at all, which is pretty tough. What's going on, Donakin? Feel like not having Crescio is hurting me in the Nightmare Quarter. How much do I need to build him? So Crescio needs I believe it is the 30330. I believe, Shady, he is the 30330 that is required. If you build out the furniture to the 9 of 9, of course, it's going to work a little bit better. But the basics is the 30330. He needs the signature item. He needs the engraving, the E30 engraving. And then, of course, again, the higher that you build out the furniture, the better he's going to perform. Which we've also seen the exact same thing when it comes to Kren, when it comes to Drez, when it comes to a lot of different heroes in AFK Arena. The higher you build them out, the better they're going to perform, especially, Shady, because they are damage dealers. That is one of the absolute biggest things in this game, guys, is if you have a hero that is a consistent or is a damage dealer within AFK Arena, the higher that they're built out, the better they are going to perform by far. Really enjoying the content, but one question. I'm going to try to build Awakened Belinda. What investment are you looking for in chapter 27 through 30? I don't think I can get her to Ascended. So the big thing, Nick, is with the Awakened version of Belinda, she will work even at lower game modes. Honestly, the basic to make her work well is probably about the Mythic to get the engraving, to get the signature item. But again, she is a hero that is damage dealing. The higher you build her, the better she's going to perform. And of course, she, as of today, because we don't have and don't know the impact of the Awakened version of Sophia, as of today, the Awakened version of Belinda right here, guys, is still the #1 biggest priority hero to build within AFK Arena, because we know that Belinda is literally in every single game mode, in a majority of formations, works incredibly well. That is the reason she's been tried and true. She's been tested in every game mode. We know exactly how well she performs in those game modes. So again, just kind of building her out, making her stronger and stronger as you build her up, is of course going to allow her to build or actually work a lot better. I've saved nearly 500 cards for Awakened Sophia. I have no other Awakened hero. Should I summon for her anyways? I have no other Awakened heroes to build. Honestly, JJP, I would wait. And the logic behind it, so you can see, JJP said I have no other Awakened heroes to build, which means that has all of them built. The big reason is I do not want to, personally, I don't want the Awakened version of Sophia to be an Awakened version of Aziz that has no utility. It's going to be super, super, I think, silly, in my opinion, if the Awakened version of Sophia comes up and she has no utility and players are not using her in formations. I think a lot of people are going to be mad, and especially, guys, if you're dropping 500 emblems on a hero that you end up not using anywhere, which is the case, my exact use case when I had that awakened version of Aziz, I didn't use Aziz anywhere, which was kind of horrible because I spent all that time investing. I would absolutely just wait to see where they're at. Do I still play Dislike? Nope. We stopped playing Dislike a while ago. It got to the point where Dislike dropped off for an incredible amount of players because there's no endgame content. You got to a point where you rush through content, got to a point there was nothing left to do. It was pretty tough to see, but yeah, you hit a wall on Dislike where there was nothing else. I know they've made some updates, not too long ago, but overall, not a game that we stuck with. Who do I prioritize for the next engraving, Rem or Lucretia? Honestly, Raphael, both of those are in formations. You're going to use Rem in a lot of different places. You're going to use Lucretia in a lot of different formations. It works incredibly well. What does Lucretia engraving do beside the stats? There's a couple things that Lucretia's engraving actually does. I believe one of them, we can take a look at her, and I'm surprised they're not even using her in here. When it comes to the engraving, right here, the damage she receives is reduced by 20% for the first 7 seconds. That deals directly into her dying, guys. She has to survive till all of your allied heroes are dead, so she gets her buff. This is the damage mitigation, which is huge. And then, of course, this one on the front line with the Skull of Treachery, it increases the dodge by 100, tenacity by 35. Again, this is kind of situational to where you're putting her. So not only are you stacking stats that we've seen with Lucretia, but in addition, depending where she falls within the formation, the E60 is going to, and of course the E30 and the 60 are directly linked to her ability to survive. She can't die, guys. That's the big thing with Lucretia, is you can't have her die before she gets up the buffs. And she's super easy to kill before she gets up the buffs. When the buffs are up, it's kind of easy to go through there. Do you test Awaken Sophia in Curse Realm? So I would kind of wait for the Awakened version of Sophia to see exactly where she is. So when I go over to the test server, testing her is a little bit more difficult than it sounds. The big thing with her, guys, is there are a lot of whales over on the test account because for a majority of players, that is their real account. That is the only account that they have in AFK Arena. It's not a test server for places like the Chinese server get stuff before we do. But overall, we're not seeing her used in game modes at this point, which is a little disappointing. I thought that even the trial version, but even a lot of players that built the Awakened version of Sophia, we're not seeing her as of today in any of the game modes. I didn't see her in the Cursed Realm or the Nightmare Corridor, and I did not see her in the Treasure Scramble. Now, granted, again, it's pretty early, so that could absolutely and definitely change. But as of today, just wait. Awakened version of Belinda, we're seeing everywhere. We already know where the Awakened version of Belinda is tried and true, and all these different formations, guys. The Awakened version of Belinda works incredibly well. I would absolutely build out Belinda. I don't think Sophia as a support hero is going to take the place of Belinda because they are literally, Belinda's the damage dealer, Sophia is not. The Awakened version of Belinda is not going to be replaced at all or any place by Sophia, but overall, we're going to have to see exactly where she kind of lands. What's going on, Trollface? As long as you have to pay 600 time emblems, we can pay the amount of time emblems. Or, I don't know, Shadow. To me, the Awakened Heroes, guys, now I have my free-to-play account. Most of you know I play the free-to-play account. I get when Sophia comes out, I will be able to get the Awakened version of Belinda up to Ascended, which means I have 4 on a free-to-play account, fully Ascended Awoke Heroes, Awakened Heroes, whatever you want to call them. Matria, I'm not going to build because, of course, it is a free-to-play account. But I have 4. I borrow a 5th. So even when you look at that, guys, I can fill 5 teams. So even just like this formation, looking again, Nightmare Corridor, Cursed Realm, I can fill 5 teams with the Awakened version of Heroes. Because I have 4, I can borrow 1, giving me 5 to utilize within those game modes. Works well. It works incredibly well when I'm borrowing them. It just takes time. Again, but as free to play, guys, I believe Javid is already on his 5th. I'm just getting onto my 5th. farming the towers, making progression consistently. It's not that they're super ultra rare hard. I can see if an awakened hero took 6, 8, 10 months to build one. But I mean, I know I play my free-to-play account on a regular basis, but we have them built. We do have them built. What's going on, Jaffa? And Chris is here as well. Even bleed my Gazer tickets dry, 180 tickets for 1 star. I think Shadow just has the worst luck of any person that can play AFK Arena, because I want him to record all of his summons so I can see exactly where the summon's at. Would it be better to build up Demia or Crescio next? Honestly, Shady, yeah, I would go with Demia. The big reason is Twisted Realm, Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, even Treasure Scramble. Demia is showing up in all of those formations. The only place we're seeing Crescio is within the one-off Nightmare Corridor. That's the only place that we are seeing Crescio, which hopefully if you can borrow a copy of Crescio, it would work well. The other big thing with Crescio is the Wilder Tower. It's really tough because, of course, Crescio is now a staple within the Wilder Tower because we're pretty limited with the other heroes. And we almost killed Rowan in there, which is kind of go, what's going on, Rain? And Noah is here as well. Leonardo or Mulan, first from the store. Personally, I like Mulan. I know Leonardo sees a lot of play within campaign formations, but Mulan, Vincent, is in a bunch of other places. And Mulan, most players do use for the Treasure Scramble as well. And Mulan is in a couple of the formations, even the alt formations, when it comes to a couple different places, including like the Cursed Realm and stuff like that. Again, Leonardo, we see a lot of his utility in the campaign towers. We see him every now and then, but I would build Mulan. And it's nice because once you have them built, that is good. You are good once you have them kind of built. Imagine Lilith putting Flora single stage teams into the game. Yeah, Flora is tough, guys. Even nowadays, Flora is still tough. Demia is downright broken. Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like what Shadow said with Demia. Demia is super, super strong, guys. It is a hero that you absolutely want to build. And you don't have to build her out super high because utility-wise, the buffs will still work. Just like a lot of our support heroes, when you look at them fundamentally, they will still work, which is kind of cool to see. Phase 600 time emblems again. I'm going to have to spend almost 2,000 tickets and 3 heroes. That's a lot. Do you think it's worth buying red chest for Lucretia's SI or any other material like the tree juice? Where are you buying it from? Not buying it for diamonds. I wouldn't buy it for diamonds. Red chests out of the labyrinth would be pretty good if you already have the heroes out of there. The labyrinth mode, and I think that is the stage, guys. There we go. We got through 50-16, so there, of course, is Scarlet just absolutely crushing damage in there. 318 billion, we got that one. Took a little bit to get through there. 47, and this is what we were kind of talking about with Mulan. So looking in here, guys, Mulan, look at the damage. Even here, 58 billion from Rem. Now, they are built the same. Both of them are 309.60, but you can see 47 billion, 58 billion, 34 billion. Relatively close, except Mulan is a lot easier to build. Hopefully you got Rem and Amelia for free, but again, they work incredibly well within the formations, which I absolutely love. Thorn Cheese, 194 in that one. And then, of course, guys, look at that, 75 billion from Raku. Loving finishing out those stages. Very, very easy. Do you think it's worth oh, yeah. Leonardo or Merlin? Merlin's the first one, Vagabond. Merlin is honestly a real big priority within AFK Arena right here. Merlin is a hero you want to build. Merlin is used in an incredible amount of different areas, mainly because of that damage mitigation factor. It does work incredibly, incredibly well. Merlin's the priority. And then again, the next two, Leonardo or Mulan, I'm kind of on the fence with either one. Both of them have their places where they can be built. Again, Leonardo, we're seeing a lot more. Even here, we're seeing a lot in the campaign formations when it comes to Leonardo. I'm just going to let this run for a minute. But overall, again, a lot of utility in here with Leonardo. But Mulan is used in a lot of other game modes where I don't feel like Leonardo really is. I have to borrow a Thane or Matria for Nightmare Corridor. use, unfortunately. There's a couple formations in there that do not run that awakened version of Maitreya, which do work pretty well. How to get more magic essence. If you mean the hero essence, is the tower. The tower is the easiest place by far, Devin, to get essence. It's a really, really good place to farm it on a regular basis, short of buying it from the shop, which I know a lot of players do buy it from the shop. But overall, the farming of the towers makes a really big difference. What's going on, Asta? 2 more copies and I'm done with Halos. Should I go for Demia? Yes, I would go for Demia. Again, Halos, we're still seeing used in quite a few places with Halos. But overall, Demia is, again, as a support hero, as a major buffer. Yeah, Demia would be the next choice in the Stargazer. That works well. And we almost got it done. I think we ran out of time on that one. Demia is making an incredibly strong showing in AFK Arena as a buffer, which exactly we knew it was going to. I've been finding Salakai helpful in a few situations where I've been stuck in chapters 12 and 13. Yeah, Jaffa, absolutely. Salakai will make a big difference, especially if you're running a little bit earlier game. It will work incredibly well because of the support aspect of the hero. As you get further, not used as much. So unfortunately, Salakai kind of does drop off a little bit, which is sad to see that he does drop off, but unfortunately he does to a point where most players don't use him anymore. Best teammates for the Awakened version of Brutus. Pauline, it depends the formation you're running. It depends the game mode, honestly. The Awakened version of Brutus is used in a couple staple formations. A lot of players do run the Awakened version of Brutus with Anasta. That was always the go-to for an incredible amount of time. Now it seems like, again, there's been a couple of variations that we've seen with crowd control, because Brutus, of course, as strong as he is within the game, he is very strong when it comes to the crowd control aspect, which I think a lot of people don't really notice as much. But Brutus is really strong when it comes to the crowd control, the ability to keep targets together. Let me see. I'm going to try the Awakened version of Thane. We don't use him a ton. I know I have to build up Amelia a little bit higher. I feel like that's definitely a hero that we're going to have to focus on a little bit to build up a little bit higher. But look at that, guys. There's so much damage in this team. Literally just crush it. 90 billion damage from Rem. It's insane how much damage. So 50-20. I'm going to stop right here because I want to do some summons. I want to do a couple other things. But we got through 2 boss stages, which I'm super happy about. Pick up our resources, pick up our loot. I want to do some summons, and I'm going to end up, and I'm thinking with the diamonds that we have, we're going to pick up the new Wilder. I want to get a couple copies of the new Wilder. I think we got a free one. Freshia, the reason is, in the Wilder Tower, she seems to be doing incredibly well, and it seems like a couple other game modes, she's kind of niche. Now, I believe at this point, everybody else we have kind of built. Let's pick up our chests out of here. Almost all the other heroes, I believe at this point, again, that we do have built within the ship. Even here, we have the Awakened version of Athalia, which of course we do have. Guineas is already ascended. Demia is already ascended. Tricia, we don't have the copies, and the Fox Fatale is already at 12, almost to 15 at this point. So again, looking there, we're going to be able to make some more progression. Got some more poke coins out of there. And the poke coins I'm saving. I'm intentionally saving those for Sophia. So when we do get Sophia built out, I want to build out Sophia with those poke coins. That way we can make sure that we have her built, because of course, with having all of the heroes and being a pay-to-win account, which this is the pay-to-win account, guys, getting some more resources, we will continue to build the Awakened heroes out. Right now, we have all of them, and I believe we have roughly 277 cards. So we're probably going to have, 350, maybe north of 350 with all of the cards that we have. So we're going to see. We're going to continue to build them. Sir, I am... Oh, what's up, Tusar? So, Bansadan, I think that's how you say it. Tusar is actually making some of the thumbnails. So big shout out to him. It's very cool. For the financial channel, I've gotten some thumbnails over there. We got a video editor. We got quite a few things that are happening over there. So really cool Forgot the Magician's Hat. Yes, the Magician's Hat is huge, guys. I cannot stress the Magician's Hat enough, guys. Getting your resources out of here, again, are huge. You can get cards out of here. You can get, just by doing the dailies, you get a lot of stuff out of the Magician's Hat. Make sure that you are farming this as much as possible. So a lot of players have also said, looking at the exchange, I know the heroes in here kind of are limited. You could have Vetheo, you could have Orthos. Mizalth, Zekas, I wouldn't build. And even if you haven't built out Orthos, or if you haven't started Orthos, I probably wouldn't even build Orthos at this point. There are a few formations where he's built, but you do have him available for the Challenger store. Vetheo would be my choice, but having them built, I am going all in on cores. I need to get more cores. Again, if we're building out that awakened version of Sophia, we're going to have the mats in there to go ahead and build her out. What's going on, Mario? Yeah, it's really big as you continue through here. So 679 for Belinda, 556 for Solus, 63 for Aziz, 65 for Brutus. Luck is going to come your way, Shadow. Don't worry. Between Awakened Thane and Baden, who is more important? Baden. Marwi, the Awakened version of Baden still has a ton of utility in game modes. Not really a big drive with the Awakened version of Thane, unfortunately, anymore. Boom, 10 pulls. What do we get? We got some red chests. We got some tree juice. This is the reason why I love this event, guys. Not only the time emblems, the Stargazer cards, but we get red chests out of here, which are very, very cool to farm. But we also get a lot of other resources as we go through here and we play out this event. Make sure you're farming it in here. I don't really worry about the scoreboard, leaderboard, whatever it is in this part. Just going through and building it. What's going on, Heinous? Heinous Wiki? Welcome to the stream. Have to go out. Oh, see you later, Alfred Us. Have a great day. Rem or Amelia to 61st. Honestly, I would go Rem. The big thing is my Amelia is at a E30. That is where I'm keeping her currently because there are a lot of other heroes to build. Or excuse me, Amelia is at E30. I think that's might be what I said. But Rem I took to 60 because of course Q-Rack. Rem is a hero that is based on stats. The higher that you have the stats for the heroes, the better it is going to perform. You really, really have to drive the damage dealers to much higher. Higher signature items, higher furniture count, even looking at a higher overall build. There is a point where you have to build them out much higher. Should I build Vetheel or Damia? Honestly, Withered, right now, I would build out Damia. The big thing is Damia is being used everywhere, and it seems like even a lot of different formations where Damia is replacing some places where Vetheel was. If I had to build between those two, I would build out Damia for the simple fact that she is going to be, she's strong. She is making such a solid showing. When you look at the twins, when you look at Mortis, when you look at Damia, they all run kind of in that exact same wheelhouse where they are major, major buffers in AFK Arena, which is huge. And again, there isn't any formations that we're not seeing Damia in, even when you go through here, when you go through the Treasure Scramble. When you look at a bunch of different places, formations are running Damia, and a lot of places are running Damia. There's even Baden right there. There's Damia. So even again, running in different formations where, again, I'm not sure if Vetheel is in here. That's a good question. Which right there's Vetheel and Tarnos. But Damia is being run, of course, in all the formations, even within the Cursed Realm and the Nightmare Corridor. Damia is being run in all those formations as well. How important are the Dur's Eye and Call? So current game, they're still used everywhere. So they are the only two artifacts, guys, that have kind of held on through everything. So looking through here, the Call, this is probably the number one priority one because of the energy regeneration. This is one of the very, very strongest artifacts that we have in the game. Then, of course, the Eye is the exact same, which is right here. This, of course, being not only the crit, but it is the haste. Haste and the critical strike damage. When you add that on, and then you throw a hero like Palmer in formations, it works even better. What about pull coins from the event? Because I don't have 9 of 9 heroes. I already got Lucretia and some E30 heroes. You can do either, Mario. And that's kind of the flexibility. And the reason why I love events is looking at the gift card, guys. There's a couple priorities in here, and I'll run through them really quick. Number one, the Emblem Choice Chest. The red chests in here are really big because if you don't have heroes that need a plus 30 signature item, this is going to be the ability to build up that plus 30 signature item. Now, if you have a majority of the heroes with those plus 30 signature items, then you're going to either be looking at elemental cores or you're going to be looking at possibly Poe coins. Now, Poe coins I am a little bit more hesitant about, but Poe coins do have a very big purpose in this game. Again, if you don't have priority heroes at that 9 of 9 furniture, Poe coins are a very good purchase to build up the primary heroes up to that 9 of 9 furniture. Same with the elemental cores, guys. There are some heroes that perform incredibly well at an E30. There are a lot of heroes that require the E60 to perform at their peak. When you look at like Mishka, when you look at the Awakened heroes, the plus 60 makes a really big difference. So you have to take a look at your account, see exactly where you're out, where your deficiencies are, or where you don't have heroes built up to where they need to be, and focus on building those heroes. It is super important because any of the resources in here through the gift cart, through any of the events, even when it comes to chess, guys, you can pick what you need. And that's why even going through here. So looking, I have 347 red chest, which indicates to me I have enough to build one hero up to a plus 30 signature item. Not a huge drive to build up because I already have those red chests set aside, and stuff in my bag serves no purpose. I want it on heroes. So right now with these choice chests, I'm doing the beast food. I am doing the bait because I have a lot of beasts that I still want to get up. I'm trying to get to that level 15 resonance. Red chests, I know I already have at that point. Cards, we get 2 of those every day. Again, we have red chests. I know there's a lot of heroes that need furniture, so I'm going to pick the Poe coins over the red chests in here. Now the Master's Choice chest, I still need engraving mats. I need more cores because of Sophia. This one, again, look at what you do need within this game mode. Here, we only need Hero Essence to level them up, but we know we need Elemental Cores. And then in here, I knew I do need Shards because there's still a lot of heroes we're going to build, giving me the resources that I need right now as of today. Let's go ahead and pop open these stones, which of course are just a little bit of food. Same thing here with our rare stones, which again, I want to hop over. I want to do the summons. I want to see if we can get some copies of Trishia out of here. And we also do have our Wilders out right there, which is going to be nice to see. Good day. What are your thoughts on the new Awaken? Right now, Yoshi, I would wait. It doesn't seem like she is the game changer that we were hoping. I would absolutely wait to build the Awakened version of Sophia. And I always say, guys, give it 10 days, give it 2 weeks, just because we have to see where she lands. I don't want it to be another Awakened version of Aziz where she has very minimal to no use case. I don't feel like that is going to be the logic or what's going to happen with her. But I feel like we have to see exactly where she is going to be used as of now. Dura's Blade has, a very small amount of usage, but even a lot of times, Shady, is players will drop in on the eye versus the blade and still get the crit instead of the attack, which again is kind of a little bit of usage. I've been watching your streams because I've been very busy. Oh, what's going on? Named Doggo, thanks for joining us. Michael is here as well. Red Spear Metals. Yeah, there you go. So there's the actual cost. That is the breakdown of what it is. And again, you have to look at what your account needs. If you're going in there, and I love the breakdown, but if you're going in there and let's say I have a lot of heroes that need E60 signature or E60 engraving, I'm going to lean a lot more towards cores. Or if I already have 300 red chests sitting in the bag, I'm going to lean kind of away from those a little bit because I know, and again, most of you know that I keep lists of what we're doing. Wouldn't she be a game changer in the Mauler Tower? Anybody would be cracking. That's like saying anyone will be a game changer in the Mauler Tower. Even when you put anyone in there, Double Alero is going to be a game changer in the Tower. The Awakened version of Alero, I cannot wait to see it. The Mauler Tower just lacks heroes, period. Anything in the Mauler Tower would be the exact same by any means. Events don't excite me anymore because they're like a choice between Pestilencing. that doesn't sound like fun at all. Get cores and miss bait and get bait or miss cores. That's it. And that's it, Shadow. That is the forever free to play. That is forever the game. Long time no see. How is Sophia so far? So right now, not a lot of impact that we're seeing with the awakened version of Sophia. We're gonna have to see exactly where she lands. And let me make sure I put Tricia in here. I believe I did. I was just thinking about that. Yep, she is in there. But it's going to be a little bit of time, guys. We're going to have to see exactly where she lands, which there is just a little bit of food. One summon here, and maybe it'll be a copy of her. Hopefully it is Tamara's. I'll take Tamara's, guys. We don't have Tamara's built up to that the 5-star at this point. He is one of the heroes that we still do have left to build. So there we go. Another elite, which is Naru. So again, just stacking some more food in there, but I'm okay with it because we have 7 copies here. We already have 1. That is going to allow us to build her up. So we're going to burn through some diamonds here. Still saving all the Stargazer cards, still saving everything else, including the Awaken emblems to see exactly what we do get out of there, guys. And there's a double. Very nice. That gives us double copies. Anything that we can do to cut down on the cost of these heroes is huge because, again, we want to build them out, but I don't want to build them out with burning every single diamond that we do have in here. And again, coin wise, I want to do some summons with the bait. I've been using the bait on a regular basis, but I don't want to use the coins because I want to drop Sophia in there before we go ahead and start burning through those coins. Coins, again, are one of the biggest ones that are very, very difficult. But we have 2 more left. Let's see if we can pick up one here. Very difficult because we have so many heroes. When you look at 10 within that wish list, guys, there are a lot of heroes within the Oaken that I wish they would lessen the amount that we have in there, but we got 2 more. Hopefully this will be Tamara's or it'll be another copy. There's Oku. We got 2 more, and then she will be up to that Ascended version. So we get the animated avatar frame, which I'm just going to pop up on there because we like putting the most recent. There is one final copy. And then, of course, we will get some resources from building her out a little bit, which I like. But that was 7 copies, roughly, what, 60,000 diamonds? So just like that, guys, burn through 60,000 diamonds. So it's incredible to see how fast you kind of go through those. Copy of Almost right there, but have 244 right here, 72,000. Then, of course, we have 279 right now. Waiting for Sophia. We're just gonna wait and see exactly what we can do, see how many copies we can get. And again, I feel like the Awakened version of Sophia is going to be a strong hero. We just have to see exactly where she's going to fall into. Reading Sophia's skills. That's what I thought, Kian. I feel like in the 5-pole, you're gonna have to build the 5-pole, maybe like not as it is right now. We're going to have to see the variations of what the 5-pole is going to look like. Is Demia a must? 100% Dark Angel. Demia is an absolute must. Right up there, Demia I put again on the same level as like the Twins and Mortis to build out because Demia is really showing very, very well in pretty much every single game mode she is showing up, including campaign formations. We have actually seen her in a couple different campaign formations. Again, just the amount of heroes and the amount of places that we are seeing the hero built, the utility wise, absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth building out Demia. All right, guys, so let's throw a little bit of resources on her. And overall, just farming those up out of summons. 35% damage reduction. And again, I like the damage reduction on here, but overall, with her being stationary, not a huge driving force. Even here, permanently increase the attack rating. That's what a mage needs. If you really want to, to build her up or make her worthwhile, she's going to require a little bit of investment. But again, outside of the Wilder Tower, we're not seeing a lot of places that she is being used, which is kind of unfortunate. But now I can fill in those slots with her in the Wilder Tower where players have already started using her, or where we were using the trial version of Tricia. She's going to make a difference. I don't like building heroes that are specifically just for the tower. But again, she is going to be one that we are going to build. And I did see her in 1 or 2 formations. I believe in the Nightmare Corridor. Maybe it was the Cursed Realm. But she is still being used in a couple different places. I overinvested into Damon. Is there any way to tell where there'll be a hero swap event? Not right now. So majority of the hero swaps have been working incredibly well. So most of the hero swaps have been around events. So around anniversaries, around major drops is where we've seen a majority of the hero swap events, but they don't come around very often, Noah, which is a little bit sad to see, but ultimately they don't. So looking at Demia, guys, plus 30 signature item is big. Now, of course, this is kind of, and I don't like the plus 20 on here will work, but the plus 30, of course, is going to add a damage reduction, which is big, but it's only if they're on the ally, if they're on one side of the battlefield. Damage dealt to enemies within Demia's half of the battlefield. So that is situational. That's the reason why I don't like the plus 30s when they're situational, because you could run Demia and everybody goes onto the enemy side. Demia's on the allied side. This doesn't have a big effect. But again, the formations that we're running her in, a lot of stationary heroes, will keep the damage reduction on that side. Looking at the engraving, I went with the 60 engraving, of course, to build her out because of the buffer. But similar to what we see to a star, is she does a lot of damage with her abilities. Again, similar to what we see with a star. And then I got to get this a little bit higher. But overall, the plus 20 on her, I believe Shadow was saying the plus 30 engraving was, or the plus 30 signature item is where Demia was at. Because remember, the skills will work. As the skills that she possesses will work without having all of the caveats, without having all of the add-ons in there. I believe the basic was a 203 on her to work very well. Yeah, Wilder count, definitely. What's the difference between the red and yellow stars? The plus 30 or the E30 and the 60. So when you get the red stars is the 60. When you get 30 or higher, so between 30 and 59 is the little orange stars. And then if you go higher, you get, I believe at E80 is the silver stars. So there is kind of a tier for the stars. As you continue your progression, you will actually get higher level stars, different stars. What's going on, Major? I don't have Khazar to Mahira yet at Mythic. Should I build Damon next or Khazar to Mahira still the priority? Isaac, honestly, I would go with Demia. The big reason is when you look at Mahira, when you look at Khazard, even doing a quick run through on a lot of different places, Demia is going to be used in a lot of different places where we don't see a lot of other, we don't see Khazard used as much. And in here, I believe we don't see Mahira at all in this formation at all. I really think Demia has, or excuse me, Mahira Khazard combination has dropped off to the point where we're not seeing them in formations anymore in other game modes. Mahira Khazard, absolutely, when it comes to campaign formations, when it comes to really going through different game modes. But again, Demia is also being used within those formations as well. So I would build, personally, I would build Demia just because, again, that is a hero that you're going to see within a lot of these formations where both the other heroes, Mahira and Khazard, I was trying to think if Khazard was used in any of these, which I don't think Khazard is being used. Even right there's Demia. When it comes to, again, other modes, and I know for positive that Treasure Scramble, they're not being used as well, but still we are seeing Demia in that formation. So short of probably the King's Tower, I would say when you go to multiple battles within the King's Tower, it is absolutely being used here. Right here's the Charizard, and then within possibly the regular tower, but campaign formations. That's really it. Again, focusing on the Nightmare Corridor, the Treasure Scramble, and the Cursed Realm are going to yield you some pretty decent rewards. Over time, you're going to go through the other game modes, but the rewards you get out of there are huge. Please explain the Materia. They just need Mythic. Both of them need to be Mythic. So the big thing with the Charizard, guys, is being at Mythic makes a big difference. Now, of course, with Mahira, the plus 20 signature item works well. This one is good because it gives her more energy. That is one why most players build her to a plus 30, is because of this energy aspect. Now, of course, the Mesmerize ability is going to work regardless of where you have her built. That is why early game she works incredibly well. And same with Khazard. Khazard needs the plus 30 signature item. Without that plus 30 signature item, Khazard is worthless because he doesn't have these 60 dissolve points. This is what makes the Charizard work between these formations. If you're running it, Khazard and Mahira, both again, if you build them at Mythic, there are a lot of players even high level. Let's see if we have any in here. There are a lot of players even very, very high level that run right here. So there is Khazard, guys, at a plus 30 signature item. That's all you need. That is really all that you need in there is that plus 30. Mahira's built up a little bit more, which again, Mahira makes a difference because this will mess with survivability if you get to the point of this game, which literally we're in chapter 50. But if you get to this point of the game where you have to build out some of the heroes a little bit higher just because of their hit points, their stats that they have, their survivability aspect, it is really big in there. Who should I focus? Oden, Grez, or Vathiel? Honestly, I like Grez. I really do love Grez. Grez is a very, very strong hero. The 60 in here is pretty good because of the dissolve points. But Oden is really strong. Vathiel, yeah, that's tough. Because I know Vathiel as well, again, looking at the utility of the heroes overall, attack rating buff in here is big because, of course, this is going to apply to the entire team, but you're only going from 1 to 1.5. So Vathiel, I would probably put out. Grez works without the 60 engraving. You eventually want to get him there. And then, of course, Oden is the major buffs. This gives him a really, really big. So you go from 15 to 18, from 5 to 20. Each time an eye is open, so you can multiply that times 3 because of the eyes. Makes a big difference for Oden. But again, all of them eventually you're going to get built out. I would look at who you're using. I would really look at Dominic, Kian, who you're using. They're all going to benefit from the E60. Yeah, Oden, because he's a damage dealer, makes a big difference. Vathiel and Grez, again, can be a little bit lower. They provide a little bit more support, but Oden, again, looking at damage dealers is going to make a big difference because of the stats and the abilities. It's also going to compound everything that he has at a 60. Yep. Yo, FHG Orthos build. Orthos just needs the furniture. Similar to Zolrath, Orthos, of course, this is going to help a lot. Enemies that remain too close to Orthos. Orthos is going to provide some crowd control, which of course is going to help a lot, Ben, with the survivability aspect. If you don't have Orthos at the plus 30 signature item, most of the time he is going to die much faster than you want him to. And if you look, guys, this is a 50%. This is a 50% increase. So every 6 seconds, they become frozen for 3. So 50% of the time, they are going to be frozen, which is huge in here. It's really cool to see. But again, he doesn't work without this. 9 of 9 is really where you want to get this to because it's going to buff up the haste on the hero that is moving. 3 of 9 is the bare minimum, guys. Similar to Zolrath, without Orthos having the 3 of 9 furniture, it is garbage. Orthos doesn't work without the 3 of 9. But absolutely, I would go 303 minimum, 309 ideal. Engraving if you want, but not a big thing in there, Ben. Oscar, I love you, Hippo. I love you too, Oscar. Thanks for the big shout out there. What would you recommend be for Season 10 of the AE? So it seems like Season 10 of the AE is going to be the same as Season 9. I didn't see any major adjustments, any major changes. So even a lot of the guides that I put out for Season 9, or even a lot of the visual guides, the content for Season 9, seems like it's going to be the exact same for Season 10. Even the same boss. We are fighting Colossus again, or Claw-Ossus. They're little play on words right there, but we are fighting the exact same boss again this AE, which is kind of sad to see. They didn't revamp it, but Season 10, it seems like it's going to be exact. I don't even think the map changed. I think the map is still the same that we've seen before, so I believe 9 and 10 are the same, if not 11 changes, but it seems like it's going to be pretty easy from what we've seen. In your opinion, which is a higher priority, Belinda or Solus? Yeah, Belinda. Absolutely, guys. Belinda is still the biggest priority within AFK Arena for the simple fact that as a damage dealer, there is nobody that is on the same level. Maybe Rem is a little bit close, but overall, guys, Belinda is just broken in the amount of damage that she puts out very, very fast. She can burn down entire teams, and she is used everywhere. Look at the big picture of AFK Arena, and I really stress you to do this with most heroes. Twisted Realm, Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, she is used in teams. Treasure Scramble, used in teams. Towers, including the Lightbearer Tower, used in teams. Then when you get into the campaign formations, single battle, even 5 teams, used in teams. Everywhere she is being utilized, which is very cool to see. In addition, the utilization of Rain. A lot of players don't have Rain built out, but Rain, of course, amplifies damage, gives energy regeneration for that awakened version of Belinda, which does work incredibly well. Again, that is kind of how I look at the heroes. Oh, thank you, Ben. Look at that. Cheers, brother. Thanks for the stream. You are welcome, Ben. Thank you for supporting the channel. 20 months he has been a member, and you can see it right there, guys, with the golden hippo that Ben does have. Thank you, sir, for the memberships and all the support for the channel. Are you not seeing Demia in AE? Yes, Demia will be in AE. There's not a doubt, Shady, that she will not be in there. So the big thing, of course, is going to be the buff for the boss fights. With the 50% buff, that puts Demia almost on an absolute broken level. And even when you put it in respect to other heroes. So when you look at heroes, there's a lot of heroes that that do a lot of buffs, that do a lot of damage. Her buff overall is huge. Not only right here, energy that increases the crit damage amplification with every crit damage boost. Not only the buffing that she is providing for the teams, but there are not many heroes. Again, they're kind of going on this pathway. And we've seen it, of course, first with Palmer, which is the reason why Palmer is super broke, guys, is the ability to not only raise the crit, but the crit damage amplification. That's one of the really big things, guys, right here, this stat. And if you've been playing AFK Arena for a while, these stats haven't been in the game since we started. These are relatively new stats. The crit damage amplification is huge when you have major massive damage dealers. The damage amplification in here just gets kind of extrapolated when you look at higher crit damage amplification, higher top end damage overall with the heroes, which is why Palmer, of course, goes in priority. It is just huge with Palmer because of the simple fact that he is buffing the crit damage and the crit damage amplification, where most heroes do not do that. That's kind of one of the big things. I followed your advice, took notes to who to build in a notebook. Yes, absolutely. Yo Life, you have to track. And again, the general rule, if you guys have been watching, this is how I do it, guys. We have the 4 primary factions. I pick one hero at a time. That is it. One single hero at a time, which is huge to build. Now I pick one Celestial or Hypogean hero. I build one of these at a single time, and then I build one Awakened hero at a time. I focus all time, all effort, all resources into the priority of those heroes. So let's say, for instance, right now, we have Trishia. Trishia we're going to be building. We have her up to Ascended. We have her kind of where we want to. We'll add the furniture to her eventually. But we have Trishia out of the 4 primary factions where we want her built. Now looking in here, we built out Demia quite a bit. I might build out Tarnos. I'm still kind of on the fence because of the PvP aspect. But overall, we just built out Demia. She was the one that we've been focused on. Still want to finish out the rest of her furniture, possibly give her some more stars. And then looking at the Awakened heroes right now, we're waiting to see where Sophia comes in. If Sophia doesn't come in where we want, or if she comes in quite a bit lower, I'm probably going to go through, finish out the Awakened version of Belinda, possibly do the exact same thing with Baden, building them up to 5 stars. And a lot of them, we do have 5 stars. We have Thane at 5 stars. We have Brutus at 5 stars. I have Solus at 5 stars. I'm adding some more stars on these heroes just to kind of complete them. Possibly even Matria adding up to 5 stars, because of course, adding stars on these are going to add crit for every single star that I add on here, which can be absolutely huge. But I focus on 3 heroes at a time, and then I prioritize of those 3 who I am going to use. Where can I find a detailed guide for AE from the start to the boss? If you look in the guide section, they're a little bit older. They'll cover the 9, which again is kind of the same, but you'll find them in there in the guide section. Just go through. Everything is in there for AFK Arena. I have, I believe, 2 or 3 AE guides. And a lot of them you can't do from start to the boss unless it's a visual guide, really. But most of them have links to the visual guides, which is good. First Awakened hero, the Awakened version of Belinda, guys. Belinda is always the first one. ZZZXXXX, hi. What's going on? Thanks for joining us for the stream. Should I build Matria till 5 stars or just start building out someone? So I would build them out 1. So I would build them out 1, similar to what you see right here, guys, with Matria. I only build them out to 1 star because of the high priority. Now, if I was Whale, if I was building them all the way out, great, build them as high as you want. I didn't build her out any further because we want to focus on the new heroes that are coming. And if I would have built her out to 5 stars, so Kirzoth, this is a way to look at it. So if I would have built her out to 5 stars, I would have not had the ability whatsoever to build out Demia when she came out, which is the reason why I'm still sitting on 70,000 diamonds and a lot of Stargazer cards. If I would have pumped all of my resources into Matria to build her out with the 5 stars, again, I wouldn't have had any of the resources to build out even the new Wilder hero in that aspect, but I wouldn't have been able to build out Demia because I would have put everything in there. That's why I put them at 1 and stop. I build them kind of slowly from there, but I don't rush to build them just because of the sheer cost. Yeah, I saw what crit damage amplification can do last ABAX. Yes, crit damage amplification, guys, is probably one of the absolute broken, one of the broken stats in AFK Arena. It is awesome. Rem, do you think it's worth to get Alna built after Lucretia? If you don't have any built out, Lucretia is still going to be good. Yeah, Lucretia, Alna, Demia are going to be huge. The twins, Mortis, are going to be huge within there to build out. Yeah, once you finish out Lucretia, Alna, again, Alna has a lot of utility, guys. Alna is still a hero that we still see, again, a lot of utility. You could even go in there and build Demia, just for the simple fact that even Demia works well, guys. Demia is kind of broken. And again, it depends what game mode you're kind of focusing on, Noah. Because if you're built a lot more into, you know, the Nightmare Corridor and the Cursed Realm, Alna's not in there anymore. She used to be, but as of right now, she's not really used. However, Treasure Scramble, she is used in every single formation, or at least one of the teams within the formations. Alna is being used. But with that being said, the same can be said with Demia. Demia is being used pretty much everywhere. Demia M20 manually alt work. Yes, it will work. Demia will definitely work. Already built Kanisa and Rook to Mythic Plus. Should I just move on to build Demia from 0 copies? Depends how many resources you have, Isaac. Can you borrow a copy of Demia? And of course, I always say to remember this, guys. When you look at your friends list, when you look at everybody on here, who can you borrow? So if I have a couple heroes, you know, if I have a couple players that I can build copies of Demia, or I can borrow copies of Demia, for the utilization that I'm using Demia in a couple different game modes, I can build out another hero. And I did the same thing personally with the Awakened version of Baden. I built Baden on my Graveborn account. I didn't build Baden for probably about 9-12 months after he was released, for the simple fact that I could just borrow him for the reasons that I needed him. And he did and does work incredibly well. How many time emblems again, the ideal amount to pull? What was that? Yeah, 400 roughly. So again, when you look at the heroes, it's very dependent, Yoshi. So looking, when we built, what was the last one we built? It wasn't Solus. I think it was Matria. Matria, I think it was Matria that we built, which was right around 400. Might have been 500. I think it might have been around 500, just shy of 500. Or no, maybe it's 400 if I remember. Same with Brutus. Brutus didn't take many emblems. He took about, I believe, 400, maybe a little over 400 emblems to get the Awakened version of Brutus. Now, with that being said, we had Thane, the Awakened version of Thane. He took about 700. He took just north of 700 emblems, Yoshi, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, some of them took 700, some of them took 400, which I believe we had really good rates on Brutus and Matria. But overall, again, It's super dependent with the RNG. That's why I say roughly about 400. When you have, 3 to 400 emblems, even here we have 300. We know there's a lot more coming. Even looking here, so we know we're getting 50 for the drop. We've already gotten quite a couple out of the event that's going on. So we're going to be 330. When you look at about the 400 is usually about where you can build a hero. Plus at that point, you know how the hero is going to be utilized. That's one of the big things. I don't want you to come in here and build a hero that you're not going to finish or that has no utility. That's the reason I say with Sophia, go ahead and wait. When do we get the 50 emblems in the discount? The after she drops. So Tuesday, Begdal, Awaken Sophia will drop on Tuesday at the reset. So for me, it's 8 p.m. here in the States. 8 p.m. you will get the 50 emblems. You will get the discount at that point. And you only have, I believe it's like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month to use that discount. But you'll get the emblems and you will also get that. Are you planning to make new guides for the Balloon of Wonder quest for your power level account? It's helpful for new players. I could do I think you mean the Wandering Balloon. I have a guide out for every Wandering Balloon. I have, and it's interesting you say that. So I have the older guides, which were the original Voyage of Wonder. So some of you might not know for newer players. These were all Wandering Balloons, or these were all Voyage of Wonders. So once upon a time, these were all Voyage of Wonders. So Voyage of Wonders, as they got a little bit further, as they started having older Voyage of Wonders, they took some of the older voyages. They had been putting them into this Wandering Balloon for an incredible amount of time. So I do have the original Voyage of Wonder that was in there with the guide. And then we do have a second one, which is the Peaks of Time. So I have done 2 guides on every single voyage you have in here. If you search the Peaks of Time with the name, it comes up. If you search Voyage of Wonder with the name, it comes up. The only difference with the Voyage of Wonder is it was a little bit of different loot, but they are all in there. But consistently, how much more utility a hero has is probably something worth give them some extra stars instead of focusing building on less useful heroes. Yes, 100% Sam. I agree with you completely. But again, you don't know who's coming down the pipeline. This game is releasing heroes every 2 weeks. Which is kind of crazy. You have to have some resources to build them, or literally if you're building heroes up to that 5 stars just for the stats, you're going to be playing catch up forever. Unless, again, you're a whale, you're putting a lot of money into AFK Arena. And look at that, guys. We swept right there. Big shout out to Mr. King. You're going to be playing catch up with the heroes forever if you don't save some of the resources, which, again, that's the reason that I have saved quite a bit of the resources, is for the simple fact that I have the ability to build some of the heroes. So let's say, for instance, right here, Trishia was an absolute priority #1 hero to build. I have the resources, I have the diamonds set aside to build up the hero versus literally just waiting a week, 2, 3, probably even a month before I have the resources to build them out. It's kind of interesting. That's what I'm hearing, Ben. And that's the reason why I've said multiple times through our stream, guys, the Awakened version of Sophia, wait. It seems like she's not seeing a lot of utility in different places that a lot of players were kind of hoping for. So at this point, guys, just wait to see exactly where and if she comes to light and where she comes to light. We really do have to see. I don't want you to go build a hero that we're not going to use. I know Tower, of course, she's going to be used simply for the fact that she is in a super limited place when it comes to the Mauler Tower. Having another support in there, hero in there will work. But again, I wouldn't build an Awakened hero for just the tower, as much as I hate it. And the reason being, guys, when you come in here to the towers, is I can let this run forever. If I don't have the Awakened version of Sophia, I can run in here. I can use the formations that in here. I can even change up the formation, but I can let this run. I can literally just let this run until it wins. Could be, a minute, could be 5, 10, an hour, whatever. Just let it run. If I don't have the Awakened version of Sophia, again, building heroes specifically for the tower, I do not like doing because they're expensive, especially with those. Where is Awakened Brutus used? A lot of PvP. Nightmare Corridor, Cursed Realm still being used. Brutus is, and of course the Mauler Tower still being used. Brutus still does have a lot of utility. Yeah, Brutus, again, is still a hero. Because remember, Brutus isn't really one of the big heroes when it comes to the damage, but Brutus also provides a very, very high level of crowd control. Brutus has a lot of crowd control, the awakened version of Brutus. So not only this survivability, but also the crowd control that we have in there. If you don't have either a Maitreya or Baden, I get wrecked in the Cursed Realm. Yes, absolutely. If you don't have the awakened heroes, guys, you're probably not going to score as high as you want within that Cursed Realm. Do we still? Oh, I think I do. Let me look, Yoshi. That's actually, I wonder if we do still have that awakened avatar. That's pretty funny that Yoshi still remembers that. Even though we don't have Aziz, I think I still do have the avatar. There it is. We still do. The Lord of Nightmares. So even though I don't have Aziz, guys, because I had gotten the awakened avatar, so there is Aziz, and you can see right here, we only have one single copy of him at Legendary, but I still do have the avatar for the awakened version of Aziz. So you look like a true collector of heroes, even though I didn't build the awakened hero. Once upon a time I did. That awakened hero, of course, got swapped to Baden. So we did get rid of the awakened version of Aziz, and we did swap it. Yeah, I'm hoping Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor. Again, Ben, when we kind of looked at it over on the other side, she wasn't being used. She wasn't being used anywhere, which was super disappointing that we didn't see the utilization. Oh, is someone hiding? Hold on, Bubs, we're almost done. He's about to lose his front tooth. It's close. It's on a big wiggle there. Yeah, we still have that awakened. I'm just saying Rem dim stomp pretty much any awoken I encounter so far. Yes, Rem is broken. Absolutely, Shadow. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, it is still, Rem is super, super strong. All right, guys, let me hop on. I'm going to do my gifting membership. I didn't want to forget this. I was literally just thinking about it right now. So let me do the gifting of the membership. Let's see who it goes out to this week, guys. I love doing this again. Every single week, we like doing the gifting of the memberships. It's really cool to see. Just funny how I can eat Awakened Brutus. Yeah. And there we go, guys. Just one this week. It's been a busy week. Just do 2x3 furniture on the weekend and he's far from nothing. Does your son play? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And it goes out to Michael. Congratulations, Michael. There is our brand new member to the channel. Thank you so much for viewing the live stream and playing along with us. Does your son play AFK Arena? No, Augusto, he does not. Maitreya cheese, yes, we have seen the Maitreya cheese. I actually used it earlier in the video, which was kind of crazy. But there you go. You get your little red hippo in there. So, all right, guys, so that'll do it for our Sunday live stream. Got through 2 more boss stages, which is awesome, as well as building out Trishea a little. Again, Wilder Tower, I feel like I'm going to have some use for her, but I think she's going to probably go the way of a lot of other heroes where we built them out a little bit, never finished them out just because they didn't really have a place. Even looking at plus 20s, most of them have plus 20s, except maybe Cirrus and Almas, but we could definitely build them up, but not a big reason to. So again, guys, thank you guys for joining me for the Sunday live stream. I'm going to go out and look at that, Ben, big thank you. Another shout out to Ben, not only being a member, but supporting the channel. Thank you very much for that super chat. They're pretty funny looking. The pink hair, blue dress girl, that says thanks. I love it. That is awesome. But again, guys, thank you very much for joining me on the Sunday stream, guys. I love doing this with you guys, being able to talk, being able to go through a lot of different content. We are a quarter of the way through this chapter, guys, looking at the end, 1,085 levels, which is kind of absolutely insane. We're going to continue gaining levels. We're going to continue with the new heroes. Pause on the awakened version of Sophia. Again, we're not seeing her in a lot of different game modes. Don't spend your time and resources at this point until and if only she finds a spot. I'm going to be super disappointed. But following along with Ben, if she's not used in a lot of different formations, if she's not used in a lot of different game modes, could be the perfect opportunity to stock up on some cards and build some other heroes that you've been looking to build. That way you can build out Belinda, you can build out Solus. We're going to have to see exactly where Sophia drops and where she does go in. So again, guys, thank you for joining me for the Sunday stream. Have a great weekend. Have a lot more content coming up. Patches, of course, dropping Patch notes are dropping tomorrow, and then the live patch is dropping on Tuesday. We got some new equipment also coming. I got a light up here, that's why it's a little bit brighter in here, but I do have a new camera. We got a new mic. We have a lot more video equipment. Big shout out to Apollinaire for recommending that. I finally bought everything. We just have to get it all set up. Make sure systematically that it's working. And if you have not checked out the second channel, guys, I have a finance channel that we literally went from 5, 10, 15 people, 30, 100 to now we're at 300 plus subscribers on the second channel, and it is growing exponentially. Everybody wants to have financial freedom, including myself, guys. I have this beautiful house to pay for, and then I am 100% debt free. That is my goal every single time, and that is my driving force to not only making AFK Arena content, but also the financial education to go through and show you guys. It is huge. It is life-changing when you help people improve credit scores, consolidate, pay off debt. Living your life is not meant to be debt-free. Try to stay out of credit card debt. And I know I got on a whole spiel, but again, that'll do it for the Sunday. I will cover the setup, and I'll show you everything that we have, Shady, when I get it all set. So again, guys, thank you guys for joining me. Have a good weekend, and as always, thank you guys for watching.